Hi, digital designers. Today we're going to take your TwinMotion projects a little bit farther by learning how to add a water feature to your project. I'm going to demonstrate using my model that I've started here, and you can see I've added some assets already like rocks and buildings and vehicles. But one thing I want to have here is like a little kind of muddy pond that I'm going to put over on this side. So in order to add a water feature, what you're going to do is you want to zoom out a little bit so that you're seeing a bigger view of your landscape. And you also want to click on your landscape to make sure that it's highlighted, okay? Because you won't get these options unless you actually grab onto the landscape. Once you do that, over here on the side, you'll see some options for sculpting. And this is where you can start to carve out your area where you're going to put your lake or river or creek. Okay, and you can see there's some different tools here. There's a raise, there's dig, there's a smoothing, a noise feature which kind of rumbles the ground a little bit. One where you can erode it, so if your mountains look too pointy, you can kind of round them off a little bit, and one to also flatten them. So I'm going to go ahead and take the dig tool, and let's see how big my tool is there. Make the diameter a little bit larger, and I'm just going to press, and as I click, you can see it's actually digging out a hole in the ground. Now, I'm going to push this down pretty far because I want it to be deep enough where when I add my water, I don't see any of that grass. Let's see how this looks. So I'm going to zoom out. We'll zoom up in the sky a little bit. There we go. That looks pretty good. Okay. So now that I have the hole dug, we can fill it in with water. Now, if you were going to do a river or a creek or something, you would just continue digging the path of your river all the way through your project, wherever you want it to go off into the distance. You just dig a deeper trench, basically. So let's take that now. And in the next step, we're going to add a water cube that will fill in that spot. All right, so now I'm going to go over to my library and I'm going to look for, in the library, the objects column. And in that objects, you'll see that you have some for water. Water comes in either a cylinder shape or a cube shape. It really doesn't matter what you pick because we can scale either one of them. I think for what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to drag the water cube and I'm going to drop it right into the center of my hole that I dug here. Up at the top of my screen, I'm going to scale it by clicking on the Scale tab. And what I'll do is I'm just going to pull this water cube in the red direction till it's big enough, in the green direction, and then finally in the blue direction. This raises the water level, okay? And as I bring it up to the top of the hole, you can see that it's going to fill that space with water, okay? So when I zoom in now, I've got realistic water that is now running into that that space, and it's got reflections, it's got little waves effects on it. You can move it around if it's not quite fitting where you want it to go. I can grab this, I can just move it in the in either direction I want to go. And then over here on the side, you have some options for how it looks. We can try pool, gives it kind of a lighter blue. Pool 3, I think this is going to work best for mine because it's kind of darker, murkier water. But you end up with a pretty cool, now as I zoom in here, I can see I need to scale it a little bit more. The cube is not quite making it to the edge. Let's take this scale and we'll pull it. Let's see, let's go in the green direction here. There we go. That way it's filling all the way up. And then I'm going to raise the water level just a little bit more. So it's kind of spilling over the edges of the bank just a little bit. Awesome. All right. So what I'd like you to focus on today with your TwinMotion project is to decide where you're going to put a water feature. Is it going to be a lake, a river, a stream, whatever you decide, and carve it out of your area. And then try this technique of adding in a water cube, scaling it up, and getting the look you kind of want so that somewhere in your map there is a water feature that your characters will have to interact with. Sounds cool. See you guys.